What is up, YouTube? Holy Pops here. I'm going to be going over patch 5.14 notes. And this patch, pretty much a few things happen. Nothing too major. And please understand that Runeglaive did not get nerfed. Anyone saying it got nerfed, oh my gosh, it's giving me a headache. So I'll get that in a minute. Pretty much the new custom game's coming out. It's basically where, hey, you can upgrade minions into immortal stalkers and what is it? Zerglings. Yes, that's pretty much effectively what Riot did. Now, they're called other things, but it's really an immortal, it's really a stalker, and then it's really Zerglings. So, if you don't play StarCraft, you would have no idea what I'm saying. If you do play StarCraft, you'll laugh a little bit, and you'll be like, yeah, okay, this is gonna be a kind of cool thing. Gangplank got his rework. Pretty much they removed his E, they put in barrels, and pretty much you shoot the barrels, it does a little bit AoE damage, and you can now upgrade his ultimate into a slow, a movement speed buff for your team, or I believe a rapid fire mode, which just shoots more bullets that does more damage, which is pretty cool. They also gave him a new passive that does, I believe, percent damage health, which is very major because his original passive is actually quite trash. It was like a small poison damage. Really good at the beginning of the game, but like after level 4, it was absolutely worthless. It was actually quite terrible. Misfortune got a rework. I don't really play Misfortune, so I can't tell you if this is really good or not. The second bounce angle kind of seems weird. Maybe I'm not reading this correctly, but yeah, it looks kind of cool. Overall, I don't think Misfortune was a bad champion. Get pentakills like 3 times in a row in a single game. If she gets fed, her ultimate's stupid. Ahri's charm now doesn't make monsters spaz out. If you were to charm blue buff or Scuttle Crab, basically it just like sometimes reset its HP, which is really, really, really annoying. So if you were like being a kind mid laner and went to like throw a charm at blue buff level 1, it would sometimes reset the blue buff. It was ridiculous. So this is major for Azir. This is really, really major. Okay, so his passive used to basically give him attack speed based on how much CDR he had. Once he had 40% CDR, which is the max CDR you can have, he would get a 50% attack speed bonus. This is why people would go Athene's Unholy Grail and then Nashor Tooth, because that was the quickest way to get, or it's not the quickest way, but many people thought it was the most effective way to get a max attack speed on Azir and get max CDR. So you would have the 60 plus the 50%. So what they did was they removed that and they just added it to his W, Arise. So now it basically gets a 60% attack speed buff. Why is this so amazing? Well, now you don't have to stack attack speed, or not attack speed, you don't have to stack cooldown reduction. You had to before, now you don't. So this opens up so many other build paths. You can go Rod of Ages right off the bat, you can go Zhonya's, you can go Rod of Ages, Zhonya's, and then Void Staff, instead of having to go Athene's and Holy Grail, and then Morillocon, and then Boots, and then Zhonya's and of Ages, which is like really far and really delayed. It basically made it like, it makes Azir not like a one-trick pony where he only has one build path. That's what Riot wanted to do, is they wanted to open his build paths up to different builds. Shifting Sands no longer does a knock-up. This kind of makes me sad because I've done some really sick plays with Azir. If you check out my older videos, you'll see the Azir Jungle videos I did. And Azir Jungle was really good. That was one of the things that was like, I considered secret OP, just like Kale Jungle. But Kale Jungle got really popular after I made the video, and they're like, huh. Yeah. Gonna try this out, and then other people tried it out. I'm sure I'm not the only one that knew about it, but like, I was one of the first guys. Come on. If you look at the upload dates. Darius's Apprehend now basically gives a small amount of vision when he's pulling. That way he knows if he's massively screwed up a second before he pulls. So there's been some times where you'll see like a Darius pull, and he'll literally pull in the entire team, and he'll get one-shotted, and well, not really one-shotted, but he'll like instantly die. It's like, well then, sucks to be you. Echo's getting a buff because, of course, Riot tends to over-nerf champions that just got released. They basically make them really OP, and then they nerf them down. I still don't understand why Echo's ultimate and any of his nerfs actually happened, because he wasn't that bad. Like, I know he was good, but he wasn't that bad. After you understood how to play it against Echo, like, he's not a monster. If you have no idea how to play against Echo, he is a complete monster, and he's very scary. I played against him like 20 times in the PvE. I got really good with him, and basically I went off and played ranked when he first came out, and played against people that were like in Platinum and like Platinum 2 and 1, and they were playing Echo really good. They had really high win rates. They weren't scary. I was able to basically be like, okay, he used his W, walk out of range, punish him for going in. Simple as that. Oh, he uses his ultimate? Okay, flash and kill him. He's a melee mid. He wasn't that amazing, but they're over-nerfing him to death, and I think that's the reason why his people are like stopped playing him as much. Because he used to be in every single game. Now you rarely see him. Elise. Pretty much they're giving her spider form a little bit of a buff, and they're also giving her human form a, basically, what is this, stun bonus? Oh, it's starting at 1.6 instead of 1, which is kind of good. Gives her a little bit of a more utility. I still think she needs a little bit more buff. She's probably going to get buffed a little bit more in the next patch, or maybe she might get like heavily buffed next patch where she becomes an unstoppable monster. That way Riot can be like, hey, we're upgrading old champions to make them actually viable. Because Elise hasn't really been good. Meteos uses her really effectively, but unless you're Meteos, she's not that good. Like, literally, I think she had like a 25% win rate or 27% win rate when I tried to do a Bronze Challenger episode on her. And I went like 6-0 with Elise, and even as a beyond fed Elise, and I was playing her correctly, you just can't carry. It's just really, really hard. You can do a ton of damage, but her spider form is effectively useless mid to late game because you go in and they just insta-shit. It's just terrible. So they need to buff her spider form, and once they do that, she'll be a monster, because her mage form is extremely good, does a ton amount of damage, but her spider form on the other hand is pretty much, well, if I get in striking distance, I'm pretty much dead. And then I guess you could say that, well, you can use that in 1v1 scenarios, but in team fights, then you're just walking around in mage form like, I used everything's on the cooldown. Guys, you need help? I can't do anything for you. Okay, so Evelynn. Hate Spikes basically got a small nerf, and her ultimate, which is an AoE slow, got an upgrade, which is pretty good. Nothing really too major. Kalista now got some like bug fixes. Basically now her Q properly does the next auto attack, and Sentinel now properly does the next auto attack. Rumble was basically killing people that were untargetable, and Flame Spitter was sometimes damaging people even knowing that it was out of their range. That crap is so annoying, especially when you're going Tryndamere versus Rumble. Happens all the time. Where basically you'll be out of the range and you'll still be taking damage. It's like, the hell. Rhys basically, his hyper carry mode doesn't hit until late game now. It used to be about mid game, like I want to say around like the 17 to 20 minute mark. Rhys would just, if he got like 2 or more kills, he'd just be a monster. He'd be like, snare you down, if you're still alive, snare you, and then burst you down again. It's like, can I please move? Can I please escape? Oh, you flashed? Okay, that's okay. I'm gonna root you there, and then I'm gonna do the exact same thing. You couldn't get away from it. So now they just basically nerfed his damage a little bit, so you would actually have a chance to outplay it. Okay, new champion is getting some small nerfs, or not nerfs, small buffs. It's nothing major, but they're basically wanting people to play him. I really wish they'd allow his passive to stack on the minions. That way you could basically play him as a jungler, which would be really cool because his ultimate would be awesome. You go mid, you ult bot, and basically your mid laner jumps into you, and you're basically like a 4v2 scenario. Think of like a Twisted Fate with a friend. That'd be awesome. Vayne's Tumble kind of got a small rework. Basically, if you were to tumble and you were to attack someone, but it didn't consume the stack, your tumble would basically, your next auto attack would do bonus damage, but your tumble would not be on cooldown until you consume that stack, or until you do a successful auto attack. So pretty much now it just consumes the stack as long as you auto attack, and that way it goes on cooldown right away and you can use it again. Yasuo's Steel Tempest now does on-hit effects in the first whirlwind hit, so that's pretty cool. Hunter's Machete now gives mana regeneration. So yay! Mana regeneration. Something that we actually need if you're playing AP jungler. Okay, so to the people who watch my Kale Jungle videos and believe that Runeglaive got nerfed, guys, it did not get nerfed. So pretty much, if you read this right here, it's essentially saying, guys, we absolutely hate Israel mid, and we don't like seeing that in our game, so we are effectively removing it from our game, and please do not pick Israel mid. Thank you, Love Riot. So pretty much Israel's Q is an AD spell. Okay? Runeglaive turned that AD spell into an AP spell. That is the reason why Runeglaive was so good on Israel, because it would turn his Q into an AP spell, which would block Lunan's Echo, which was amazing. Like, his Q still has AP ratio, but it would actually turn it into a full AP spell, which was just insane. So now it's pretty cool. It got actually a nice buff, so deals double damage to the first monster hit. So all in all, if you're playing this on Kale, Gragas, Fizz, any AP champion, this is a buff. This is not a nerf. Nothing happened to Runeglaive whatsoever. I've literally been told 5 times that Runeglaive got a major nerf and Spellblade no longer affects champions. I'm like, did you even look at the item? It still says Spellblade. It still says on to champions. So, Zekes Harbinger, this is the new item. Basically, Zekes Herald no longer exists. They reworked it to this. This is good on champions that are AP and they want to do like some bonus damage. So pretty much a Sona, Annie, and maybe Nami could use this effectively. Basically, you attach it onto your friend after I think like 5 to 10 seconds or some other, basically a general time. It basically upgrades and gives you the ability to actually do something. So this is actually pretty cool for supports that are actually wanting to do damage, and it gives the possibility of supports actually doing something other than just supporting, because Riot's always trying to make like supports that usually aren't that amazing really fun to play. Example, Nami, Soraka, like supports that aren't like really heavy AP burst, like Annie and who else? I guess Kale could be a support, but like, I don't know. Pretty much non-damage supports actually doing damage. Summer's Rift. This is a thing that I kind of have a problem with. So pretty much when you're going from bronze to silver, you basically go into this transition of learning jungle timers, learning everything, and this is the way it's always been. Pretty much you need to understand how important Dragon and Baron is, and that you need to actually keep track of the timers. Well, Curse basically made a program that kept the track of the timers for you if you saw the monster or minion die, or actually should say buff. So Baron, Dragon, and buffs basically you'd have the timer for it. Then Riot was like, that's OP, man. We're not going to allow you to do that. So they basically removed that from their game, told them to stop, and Curse, of course, said, yeah, we're going to stop, and they effectively removed it. And then Riot was like, we're going to add timers to the game because this is what is needed. And pretty much, they just got this magical idea from nowhere and added in timers. Now, I know that people are claiming that it's because it was unfair, but in all reality, like, Curse pretty much 2 weeks before they decided to go and remove it, they went off and made it public to everyone. Anyone could download it. Like, if it was really that amazing, then you could just download it. And also, you could always just have, like, 3 stopwatches and basically click them when you saw them go down. It wasn't that massive of an advantage. But now they basically have it where Dragon and Baron, you don't have to keep track of those timers. It's just global. You hit tab and you see it regardless of whether you have vision on it or not. Which was really important because basically this was the reason why Scuttle Crab was so like groundbreaking. Because Scuttle Crab would basically prevent the enemy team from doing dragon like a ninja dragon, and this way you could most likely have vision. It wouldn't give you vision of the actual dragon death, but you could basically see the entire team going near it, and then you could go 6 minutes from there. Now you don't even need to do that. You just need to hit tab and you'll see it. And I kind of think that this is taking away from like the skill level of the game. But in all honesty, it's not too much, but I really think it should be taken away. Hopefully maybe one day they'll bring it back to where you actually have to do the math and be like, hey, I'm actually doing something. I'm thinking for once. And we found out that Scuttle Crab is a chick. And Death Recap used to show the 3 lowest damages instead of the 3 highest damages. So they reworked that, and now it's fixed. Upcoming skins: Captain Fortune, Cutthroat Graves, Cut Purse, Twisted Fate, Sea Hunter Aatrox, which actually looks like he kind of like ripped the arm off of Sylvana and made it into a gauntlet. Rogue Admiral Garen, which looks like he stole one of Draven's axes for his sword. And Corsair Quinn, which clearly just got sponsored by Corsair. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, rate, and subscribe, and peace out.